Spread love, man.
You guys remember what you focus on expands. If you focus on lack, you'll see more lack. If you focus on abundance, you'll start to see abundance everywhere. But it's not just about positive thinking, it's about aligning your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions. It's about becoming so focused on your vision that you naturally start taking actions that move you towards it. It's about living as if your desires have already manifested. Let me give you an example. Let's say you want to become financially abundant. It's not enough to just think, I want more money. You have to start feeling abundant now. You have to start acting as if you're already financially secure. This doesn't mean going out and spending money you don't have. It means shifting your relationship with money. Instead of constantly worrying about bills, start appreciating the money you do have. Instead of saying, I can't afford that, start saying, how can I afford that? Instead of focusing on lack, start focusing on opportunities to increase your wealth.
Ready to explore some really cool ideas about how our minds shape our reality.
Always.
Okay, so we're doing a deep dive into Joe Dispenza's work.
Right.
He's pretty well known for combining neuroscience with personal development.
Yeah.
And his big idea is that we can actually manifest the things we want.
Mm-hmm.
Like mind over matter, that kind of thing.
It's intriguing because he doesn't just tell you to, think positive and everything will be great. He tries to back it up with science,
Right.
He brings in research from things like epigenetics and quantum physics.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not just feel-good advice. It's more like a framework that's supposed to be based on how our brains and bodies actually work.
Yeah, exactly.
One of his core ideas is this thing he calls the cycle of manifestation.
Okay.
It's kind of like a chain reaction.
Mm-hmm.
Your thoughts create feelings, and then your feelings drive your actions, and then ultimately those actions shape your reality.
Imagine you just bought a new car. All of a sudden, you start seeing that car everywhere you go.
Yeah.
It's not that there are suddenly more of those cars around. It's just that now your brain's tuned into it. You're noticing what was always there, but your focus has shifted.
That's a perfect example of how our thoughts basically create a filter for our experiences.
Mm-hmm.
But Dispenza goes even deeper.
Oh, yeah.
He explains how these thoughts actually have a real physical impact on our bodies.
He points to studies about how our thoughts and emotions can even affect things like our immune system.
Wow.
He even says they can influence gene expression. And just so you know, epigenetics is essentially how our environment and our choices can actually turn genes on or off.
Really?
So it's not just our DNA that matters, it's how our thoughts and actions interact with it.
That's wild.
Yeah.
I've always heard that saying mind over matter, but this really gives it a whole new meaning. It's almost like our thoughts are talking to ourselves.
Right. And then he gets into neuroplasticity too, which is basically how our brains can rewire themselves based on our experiences and thought patterns. The more you think a certain way, the stronger those neural pathways become. It's like carving a path through a forest. The more you walk it, the clearer and easier it becomes.
So you're not just stuck with the brain you were born with, you're constantly shaping it.
Right.
This leads us to another really interesting thing. He talks about embodiment and visualization.
Okay.
It's that idea of living as if you've already gotten what you want.
He's saying it's not enough to just think positive thoughts.
Yeah.
You have to actually align your actions and your behaviors with that reality you want to create. So think of it this way. If you want to be a really confident public speaker, you can't just sit at home and visualize it. You have to actually practice speaking.
Right.
Even if it's just to yourself in the mirror.
Yeah, you're actively becoming the person you want to be, not just waiting for it to happen.
Exactly.
This reminds me of something else Dispenza talks about a lot, the power of gratitude. He says to try listing 3 things you're grateful for every day, no matter how small they are.
Yeah.
It's such a simple thing, but it can really shift your perspective.
It's powerful. By focusing on what we already have, we create this feeling of abundance, like we're saying to the universe, hey, I'm open to receiving more good things.
And that brings up something important. Dispenza is really clear that the manifestation process is not always going to be easy. There will be challenges, setbacks, those kinds of things.
Of course, yeah.
So how does he deal with that?
He frames those as opportunities for growth and learning.
Okay.
He has this great analogy about a snowball rolling down a hill.
I love that analogy.
Yeah.
It captures the idea that those small actions, even if they seem insignificant, if you do them consistently over time, they build on each other.
Exactly.
You're gaining momentum toward your goal with every step.
Yeah.
But it's not just about pushing through challenges, right?
Yeah.
There's also this element of being flexible and open to how our desires might show up in our lives.
Yeah. He reminds us that the universe might have surprising ways of delivering what we want.
Okay.
It's like ordering pizza and it shows up by drone delivery.
Okay.
You still got your pizza, just not how you expected it.
Right. So we have to be open to possibility and not get too fixated on one specific outcome. He talks a lot about the present moment, but honestly, I'm not always sure how being present now is going to help me manifest something in the future.
That's a paradox, isn't it? But think about it. The only moment we have control over is now.
Right.
When we're lost in worries about the past or anxieties about the future, we're kind of giving that power away.
That's a great point. It's like we're scattered, not focused on where we need to direct our energy. So being present is about aligning ourselves with what we want, but like on an energetic level.
Exactly. And that brings us to another key idea. Action. Manifestation isn't passive. It requires action, but inspired action.
So we can't just sit around visualizing our dream life. We have to take steps toward making it a reality.
Exactly.
But it's not just any action.
Right.
It has to come from that deeper desire.
It's not about forcing things to happen.
Okay.
It's about creating the conditions so they can unfold naturally.
Would you say Dispenza's approach requires a lot of self-awareness?
Absolutely.
Okay.
He talks about recognizing those patterns we have, of thinking and feeling and behaving, because if we're not aware of those patterns, we just keep repeating them.
Yeah, even if they're not helping us.
Exactly. It's about recognizing when you're thinking a negative thought. Stop, breathe, and ask yourself, okay, so what do I want instead?
I love that. So simple. You redirect your focus from what you don't want to what you do want.
Right.
It's like that saying, what you focus on expands.
Right. If we're always dwelling on what we lack, we just see more lack in our lives.
Yeah.
But if we shift to focusing on abundance, we start to notice more opportunities and possibilities.
It's about training our minds to look for the good, even when things are tough. I'm already getting so much out of this.
Me too.
What has stood out to you most so far?
For me, it's how he ties everything together, Our thoughts, feelings, actions, and even our biology. It's not just positive thinking. It's like a total transformation that involves aligning everything with the reality you want to create.
I love that. It's a truly holistic approach. And it's pretty empowering to realize we might have more control over our reality than we think. What about you? What's sticking with you?
The idea that our thoughts and feelings can actually affect our physical well-being and even our genes, that's huge. I think it shows how important it is to pay attention to our inner world.
Yeah.
And to make choices that support our overall health and well-being.
This leads into another cool thing Dispenza talks about, the power of our subconscious mind.
Okay.
And how we can use that to make real lasting change.
That's fascinating.
We could dig into that in the next part of our deep dive. Sounds good. We'll be right back after a quick word from our sponsors.
So before the break, we were getting into the mind-body connection.
Right.
How our thoughts and feelings can actually, shape reality.
Yeah.
But Dispenza goes even further.
Okay.
He explores this whole idea of the power of our subconscious mind.
All right, let's unpack that a little bit. What's he saying about the subconscious?
He says it's incredibly powerful,
Okay.
like a giant storehouse
Okay.
of all our past experiences,
Right.
beliefs, patterns, all that stuff.
So it's kind of like the operating system running in the background,
Yeah, exactly.
influencing everything we do without us even realizing it.
The thing is, our subconscious isn't always on board with what we consciously want.
Okay.
It can be running all these old programs that are no longer helpful. Those times when you self-sabotage
Oh, yeah?
or keep repeating the same negative patterns over and over.
Makes total sense.
It's like our conscious mind is trying to steer the ship one way,
Right.
and the subconscious is pulling us off course.
Exactly.
Dispenza says we need to reprogram our subconscious, get it aligned with our conscious goals and desires. He offers some techniques for doing this.
Okay.
One of the most powerful ones is visualization.
Oh, I'm really interested in that. So it's not just about visualizing the end goal, like getting that dream job.
Right.
Or finding an amazing partner, but it's about visualizing the actions that lead to that.
It's like you're giving your subconscious a blueprint
Okay.
for success.
Yeah.
Imagine yourself taking those actions
All right.
as vividly as possible. Engage all your senses.
Wow.
Make it feel real to your subconscious. It's like a mental rehearsal.
I love that. You create this movie in your mind
Yeah.
where you're the star You're overcoming obstacles and you're achieving your goals.
Exactly. And the more you repeat this visualization, the more your subconscious starts to buy into it.
It's like you're giving your mind a whole new set of instructions.
Right. A new program to run.
I imagine that takes quite a bit of effort.
Oh, for sure.
And consistency.
Dispenza's really honest about that. He says, it's like working out at the gym.
Okay.
You're going to be sore, uncomfortable at first,
Right.
but you stick with it.
Yeah.
You start seeing results. Same with our minds. The more we work these techniques, the stronger those mental muscles get.
So it's a commitment then, not a quick fix.
Definitely a commitment. But the rewards are huge, right? Think about it. Reprogramming your subconscious so it's working for you,
Totally.
not against you.
That's powerful.
This ties into another one of his big ideas, the power of our energy.
You mean like our personal energy?
Yeah. He explains that everything is energy,
But-
vibrating at different frequencies.
Right.
And that includes us. Our thoughts, feelings, beliefs, they all emit a certain vibration.
So if we're always dwelling on negative things, does that mean we're emitting a low frequency vibration?
It can, yeah.
Okay.
And that might be attracting more negativity into our lives.
That's not good. So then if we want to bring in more good things, more love, more joy, more abundance, we need to cultivate those feelings first within ourselves.
Exactly. That's where gratitude comes in again. The more we focus on what we're grateful for, the higher our vibration becomes.
Like that saying, where attention goes, energy flows. So by focusing on gratitude, joy, and love, we're amplifying those energies in our lives.
Right. And that leads us to something really important.
Okay.
Dispenza's clear that the universe responds to our state of being, not just our desires. It's not enough to just want something.
We have to embody it.
You got it. So if we want more abundance, we need to feel abundance first. It's not about pretending to be rich if you're not.
Right.
It's about shifting your mindset from scarcity to possibility.
I love that.
Abundance is a state of mind, not a dollar amount. It's about appreciating what you have, trusting that the universe will provide.
This idea of aligning our energy with what we want is really resonating with me. But I'm also realizing this isn't a one-time thing. It's an ongoing process.
Oh, absolutely.
We can't just switch our thoughts and feelings on and off.
You're right. It's a journey,
Yeah.
not a destination.
Yeah.
It's about constantly checking in with yourself, making sure your thoughts, feelings, and actions are aligned with where you want to go.
It's like course correction. Noticing when we fall back into old patterns
Exactly.
and gently guiding ourselves back.
And one of the best tools we have for that is our breath.
Oh, yeah.
Dispenza talks a lot about conscious breathing for calming the nervous system, shifting our energy, and connecting with that inner power.
I've actually been trying some breath work lately.
Yeah.
And it's amazing how much it can shift my mood.
It's so powerful.
Yeah.
Just a few minutes can make a big difference. And it's something we always have with us. We can use it to ground ourselves, release stress, raise our vibration.
I'm seeing how all these pieces fit together now.
Yeah.
The mind-body connection, the power of the subconscious, energy and vibration, and then conscious breathing.
It's all connected. It's about aligning everything, every part of ourselves. And you know what Dispenza says? This isn't just about achieving our own goals.
No.
It's about becoming the best versions of ourselves
Okay.
so we can give more to the world.
I love that. It's not just about getting what we want. It's about becoming who we're meant to be.
Exactly. And that brings us to another big idea,
Okay.
surrendering control
Okay.
and trusting the process.
Ooh, this is where I get stuck sometimes. I want to manifest my desires,
Yeah,
but I also want to feel in control. How do we reconcile those two things?
that's a great question.
Yeah.
And it's a common struggle. He acknowledges that surrendering control can be tough.
Right, especially because we're taught to hustle.
Yes.
Make things happen, never give up.
Exactly. But he reminds us there's the difference between taking inspired action
Okay.
and forcing things. He says that when we try to control every little detail, we actually block the flow.
Makes sense, like we're trying to swim upstream instead of just letting the current carry us.
Yes. He encourages us to shift from control to trust.
Okay.
Trust that the universe has a plan. Trust our own inner guidance.
Right.
Trust that things are unfolding in perfect timing.
So letting go of that need to micromanage everything
Yeah.
and allowing the universe to work its magic.
Exactly. This doesn't mean we just sit back and do nothing. It means
Yeah.
we take action when it feels aligned, but we also surrender to the bigger picture.
Yeah.
Trusting that even the challenges, even the setbacks are part of the journey.
This is really resonating with me Surrender and control isn't giving up. It's about aligning ourselves with something bigger
Yes,
and trusting that everything is working out for our highest good.
beautifully said. And this leads to another thing Dispenza talks about, living in the present moment.
I've heard that before,
Yeah.
but I still struggle with how being present is going to help me create something new in the future.
It's a paradox, isn't it?
Yeah. He explains that the only moment where we have any real power is now.
Right.
When we're dwelling on the past or worrying about the future, we're giving away our power.
It's like we're scattered, not focused.
Exactly.
Hmm.
When we're fully present, we're aligned with our desires.
Okay.
And we're more likely to notice those opportunities.
Right, as they come up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like tuning your radio dial to the station of your dreams.
I like that.
When you're tuned to that frequency, you're going to attract things that match that.
It's about recognizing that the power is within us in the choices we make in each moment.
Dispenza encourages us to choose those thoughts, feelings, and actions that align with who we want to be.
It's about shaping our inner world,
Yes.
so our outer world reflects that.
But it's an ongoing process, right? It's
Yeah.
a way of living.
Not a one-time thing.
Exactly. Making choices that reflect who we truly are
Mm-hmm.
and who we want to become.
Mm-hmm.
He says to live as if everything you've ever wanted is already here.
Walk, talk, think, feel like you're already living that dream life.
It's about embodying the energy of it, even if it's not here yet.
Yes. Be patient. Be persistent. Trust that the universe is working with you, even if you don't see results right away. Remember, every challenge is an opportunity. Every setback, a setup for a comeback. And every moment is a chance to choose again. To align again.
He's inviting us to step into our power
Yes.
as creators, to embrace our potential.
He reminds us that we're not separate from the universe.
Right.
We're a part of it, co-creators of reality. And that power that created galaxies and solar systems,
Yeah.
that's the same power that flows through us.
That's amazing. It's about recognizing that we're capable of creating a life beyond our wildest dreams.
Let go of doubt.
Yeah.
Let go of fear. Choose
Yeah.
love over fear, abundance over lack, and possibility over limitation.
Because when we align with our highest selves, when we're in harmony with the universe, everything we've ever wanted will show up in ways we couldn't have imagined.
Our time is now. Step into your power, embrace your greatness, and watch what happens.
We are the creators of our reality,
Yes.
the authors of our own stories.
And from this moment on, it's going to be the most amazing story ever told.
Because it's the story of us,
Yes.
stepping into our power, manifesting our dreams, living a life of joy and abundance.
It's about believing in ourselves, trusting the process, and having the courage to create a life we truly love.
Wow, that was quite a journey. I feel like we just scratched the surface.
There's always more to explore.
What are your biggest takeaways from all of this?
For me, it's that everything is connected. Our
Uh-huh.
thoughts, feelings, actions, energy, our bodies, it's all part of this incredible web of creation.
Hmm.
And when we align all of that with our desires, that's when the magic happens.
It's a holistic approach, recognizing that we're not just trying to force our will on the universe,
Right?
we're co-creating with it. What about you? What stood out to you? The power of our subconscious mind. And how important it is to make sure it's aligned with what we consciously want.
Absolutely. And this leads into another really fascinating piece of Dispenza's work.
Like?
He brings in quantum physics
Oh, wow.
and how it relates to manifestation.
That sounds amazing.
We can dive into that after a quick message from our sponsors.
Okay, so before the break, you mentioned quantum physics.
Right.
What does that have to do with Dispenza's work on manifestation?
Well, this is where things get really interesting, at least for me. Dispenza connects quantum physics to how our minds can shape reality.
Okay, I have to admit, quantum physics always kind of makes my head spin.
Yeah, it can be a bit much.
Can you break it down for us, in a way that makes sense?
Sure. Basically, quantum physics shows us that the universe isn't this fixed, solid thing. It's more like a constantly changing field of possibilities.
Okay.
At the subatomic level, particles can exist in multiple states at once.
The reality is more fluid than we think.
Exactly. And Dispenza suggests that our consciousness, our thoughts and beliefs actually play a role in collapsing those possibilities into the reality we experience.
Wait, so you're saying our thoughts don't just reflect reality, but they actually help create it?
That's the idea he's putting forward. He talks about the observer effect in quantum physics. Essentially, when you observe something, it can actually change its state. So by focusing our attention on certain possibilities, we might actually be influencing how likely they are to manifest in our lives.
That's kind of mind-blowing. So if I'm always worried about something bad happening, am I actually making it more likely to happen?
That's a question Dispenza asks. He suggests that by focusing on fear and lack, we might be unintentionally attracting those experiences into our lives.
So it's not about pretending challenges don't exist.
No.
It's more about shifting our focus to what we do want, even if we don't see it yet.
Exactly. Shifting from a mindset of fear and limitation to a mindset of possibility and potential.
This all connects back to what we've been talking about, the power of our thoughts and feelings. If reality is this fluid field of possibilities, then it makes sense that our internal state would affect what shows up in our lives.
Right. And Dispenza takes it even further. He suggests that we can even change our past and future by shifting our awareness in the present moment.
Whoa, hold on. How can we change the past if it's already happened?
He's not talking about literally changing the events. It's more about changing our relationship to those events.
So reframing them.
Yeah. So they empower us instead of holding us back.
Okay, I can see that.
Dispenza explains that our memories aren't actually fixed recordings of the past.
Really?
They're more like reconstructions influenced by our current beliefs and emotions.
So if I'm holding on to anger or resentment about something that happened in the past, I might actually be keeping those negative feelings alive in my present.
That's the idea. But if we can forgive, let go, and find the lessons in those experiences, we can free ourselves from the past and create a more positive present.
That's really powerful. It's like we have the power to change our own stories.
Mm.
What about the future then? How can we change something that hasn't even happened yet?
Well, Dispenza believes that by changing our thoughts, feelings, and actions in the present moment, we're essentially setting a new course for our future.
So it's not about predicting the future, it's about creating it.
Right. He says every moment is a fresh start, a new opportunity to make choices that align with our desires.
This goes back to what we talked about earlier, embodying the energy of what we want, even if it's not here yet.
Yes. Living as if our desires have already come true. Walking, talking, thinking, and feeling as if we're already living that dream life.
It's about aligning our energy with the outcome, not just mentally, but in every way.
Exactly. Becoming a vibrational match for what we want to attract. And when we do that, we become more open to receiving it.
This has been such a mind-opening conversation. I feel like I have a whole new understanding of how much power my mind has. What final thoughts would you leave our listeners with?
I'd say, don't just take our word for it. Explore these concepts for yourself. There's so much out there. Books, videos, workshops.
Yeah, so many resources.
It's about finding what works for you.
And experimenting.
Exactly. The most important thing is to start applying these principles in your own life and see what happens.
And remember, you are incredibly powerful.
Yes.
You can create a life beyond your wildest dreams.
Believe yourself. Trust the process. Never stop exploring your own potential.
That's a great note to end on. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. We hope you found it insightful and inspiring. Until next time, keep exploring, keep growing, and keep believing in the incredible power within you to create a life you love.